Well, hello everyone and welcome again to Painless Universal, a conversation with myself and Welsh. Today I'm super excited to talk to you because this conversation will mean a lot to so many women out there. In fact, some men as well. Do you feel you're lost for home? You don't know where to start from? You changing careers to something totally new? And you're of age and you're thinking you're probably too old to even start something new. Well, my guest today, Fran and her wife, will be telling us about their own journey, being lesbians, being founders of a company, and overcoming challenges of working together. It's not always easy to work together. But let me tell you a little bit about Fran first. At 52, Fran Dunaway became a first-time entrepreneur, co-founding a gender-neutral inmate and laundry made Tomboyx with her wife, Naomi. They've gone from working out of their garage to running a fast-growing business whose sales jumped 50% last year to 24 million. Tomboyx represents his community, says 81% of his employees identify as female or genderqueer, non-conforming, 42% as LGBTQ, and 60% as non-whites. They decided to work together and do something, give back, and show the world it can be done. Fran is an active in social causes and served as an executive director of Equal Rights in Washington. I can't wait for you guys to have this conversation with me because their journey started from humble beginnings. And they'll be telling us about their humble beginnings and how they got to the place they are today. Meet my wonderful guests, Fran and her wife, Naomi, as we share our conversation. Hello, everyone, and welcome again to Painless Universal, a conversation with myself and Welsh. As I said in my introduction, today's conversation is really one that would blow your mind away. It tells you that if you find your courage and you believe in yourself, obviously with hard work, you could get there. My guest today, as I said, Fran and her wife, Naomi. They'll be telling us about starting a business late in life, raising funds, and going through the difficult challenges of being, in the gay community, how to deal with those challenges. I am super honored to have you both here. How are you?
Great. Thank you for having us.
I am so excited, I'm honored to have you. And where are you both joining me from?
We are in Seattle, Washington.
And by the way, we are allowed to come to the United States anytime. So I was so honored when they made that announcement saying we Brits could travel over to the United States. So that was really good. You know, I reached out to both of you because of your story. It's all over magazines. It was in Forbes magazine, and you guys, what you do was so special, especially you, Fran, because you started this business at 52, you said, and you started something totally new. You went into this because you just, Naomi saw that you were complaining a lot, and she said, why not just do this? And this thing happened. Before we get into all of that, can you both tell me a little bit about who are you?
Go ahead, Naomi. You start.
Sure. Well, I am a second generation Cuban American. So I was born and raised in New York City. And I was the first in my family to go to college and first to graduate. And from that point on, the one thing that I'd always wanted to be was a sports massage therapist, and specifically to work with Olympic athletes. And at 30 years old, I achieved my dream, and I was the massage therapist for the U.S. Women's Olympic soccer team.
Oh, wow.
And then about 10 years later, I started this business with Fran.
Yes, indeed. And my background, I'm an Army brat. I'm from the Deep South. And really, this is my third career. I was in Human Services Administration right out of college. And then in my early 30s, I sold everything and went to film school and became a producer, and then a partner in a media strategies firm. And then we kind of stumbled into this world of entrepreneurship. after we met, and she got tired of hearing me complain about the lack of shirting options.
And I'm not surprised because there is very little diversity when it comes to shirting options. A lot of quality good ones for men, but when it comes to women, you want that versatile, you want the different style. And I understand that, being someone who's that fashionist myself. But when you look back at both of your early careers, is there something that prepared you for where you are today? Because you've achieved such great success. I know it was hard work, but looking back at what you've both done, what has prepared you for this moment today?
I think for one thing that we're both very, we've been in careers that are very much about kind of giving and doing and making things better. So we have a fix-it mentality, and we've, and I think that served us well in terms of being able to listen to our customers and hear what they wanted and to act on that. So I think that's a differentiator. What would you say, Naomi?
I would say, at 17 years old, I was kicked out of my house for being gay. Yes. And, thankfully I was going to college in about 3 months. So I didn't have a long time before I would have housing secured. So what that taught me was really the importance of, yes, being afraid in terms of not knowing what's coming next, but grabbing on to the freedom that also provided me, because I had the opportunity to be in charge with what my future would look like. And so even though I was terrified, I took strength in that particular experience from that. That's what I chose to run with. And so I didn't let it stop me. And I'm grateful for the people that helped me along the way. So, reaching out and having friends and community that then supported me was pivotal. And I would say that we've used that as well in our business. We had, started as a queer company. We are a queer company, and our community really supported us along the way. And we've reached out to them and continue to be part of it.
They really have. I saw when you started the fundraising, there were some of the people you reached out to when you initially started the fund, because people, ethnic minority, women, and queer, we all have that difficulty raising fund. We try and try and try, and it's always that kickback that for some reason the men always get it right. They always seem to have a success with it. But when you started this journey, I know you said, Naomi told you, Fran, that your shirts, you were complaining to Naomi saying the shirts are not looking right. And then you said, you were already working. Because my question here has to be, when you said you wanted to go into the business, okay, let's just do this. Fashion is not easy. Fashion is a whole new ball game. Have any of you ever been in fashion before? Is this something where you have a passion? Did you have a passion for it? Where did that come from?
Yeah, no, actually, we didn't know a knit from a woven or a P&L from a balance sheet. So I think that the lack of knowledge is what allowed us to dive in thinking it would be easy. And in fact, that's what, Naomi, you said to me was, well, how hard can it be to start a fashion line? And so that was the leap off the edge.
And what's the inspiration behind Tomboyx?
We thought it was a cute name. We both identify as tomboys. We were called tomboys as kids, and just thought it was a cute name. It was a good descriptor for the shirts. And, it ended up being one of the smartest things that we did was keep the name, because when we launched a Kickstarter campaign to pay for the shirts, and it was during the campaign that we started hearing from women and girls around the world who were so excited that there was a brand for them for the first time. And so we had instant brand recognition because of the name.
Yes, I love the bit. I personally love the expert at the end. So because it lets me wear it feeling so girly again. It has that little touch of girliness to it. So I like, whoever thought about this. So even though you're a tomboy, there's this X thing that gives me the girliness as well. So
yes,
whoever thought about it was, you guys did well. So the company is doing very well. It's great. It started off in the garage, and now you're going on to big scale. The pandemic has hit. How have you been able to make this company a success, even with COVID?
Well, luckily, we pivoted out of shirts several years ago because our customers told us that the big white space opportunity for us was in the underwear category. And so we are now an apparel company, but we really stopped being a shirt company back in 2004 or 16 and pivoted into underwear. So now we carry underwear, loungewear, sleepwear, and swimwear. So that's all stuff that we create, and it's all made for fit and quality and comfort. So fortunately, that's what our customers, or what the world was looking for during COVID, was ways to be comfortable at home, and underwear is the beginning of that.
I didn't think about that. That is actually a key point. COVID was actually a key turning point for yourself. But you know, with the world of Victoria's Secret models and all that fashion, how are you differentiating yourself to say this is my own brand? We're not trying to compete in that space. This is our own space, and we're doing our own thing to make a woman comfortable. What would you say is different in this in your brands?
I think that most brands come out of the gate trying to be aspirational. They want to tell you how to be cool. They want you to buy their stuff, and so then you can too be cool. And we flipped that on its end from the very beginning, because to us it was all about inclusivity and being seen and heard. And so our lens is a reflection back of you. We think you're cool the way that you are. So you be you and be comfortable doing so. And that's really the key differentiator.
And then, you know, we want to tell your story. You know, what is it? You know, let's highlight what you're doing for the world and how you're improving the lives of people around you. Let's tell your story.
Yeah, that's true. I have to wear some of your brands to tell a story as well, because yes, I love that. I have to ask you, there's lots of hurdles with business. Businesses are challenging then. I mean, you see in the UK, I don't know if you followed our news, we have the logistic problem here. We have supply problem. We go petrol problem. There's just, the list is endless. Then we have the problems of people coming to work. We just can't, every day you turn on the news is something. For your business, how are you sustaining these challenges post-COVID has presented to the world today?
It's absolutely a challenge. Everything that you've mentioned outside of the petrol problem is something that we're facing in the United States as well. And to the point where, you know, shipments that would normally take 3 weeks to arrive now take 90 days. And so in terms of a planning perspective and seasonality perspective, you can imagine what that does to your business. You know, you're trying to sell, you know, fall items, but you only have stuff that's coming in now from spring, you know, so it causes a lot of churn internally, where you've got to create new marketing assets and think about how to talk about the topics differently. So yeah, you know, it's been a challenge, and I'm happy to say our team is incredible, and they're really finding a way up, around, and through it.
Yeah,
They're getting very good at shuck and jive.
It's not easy at all, but I mean,
No.
you guys have got it going. I think, I mean, you just described it well. It is a challenge, but I think it's just people who are able to navigate it that will always win in this difficult challenge, in difficult game. So you both come out, you're very open about being lesbian, you're not hiding it. Most people would say, oh, I'm doing business, because I remember when I started business and I was with my husband and we have the same surname. I would say to him, you know, we can't send an email out with our surname, because I just don't want people knowing that we're any kind of related. I was very nervous about that. And you guys are very open about it. Could you please tell me, and I'm sure many people want to know, how did you do it? How can you be comfortable, and how do you make a business successful working together?
Well, those are two very different questions.
Yes.
So I'd say that, you know, in terms of what we wanted to create with the brand was really being authentically you. And so it was never a question. I've been a gay rights activist, you know, all of my adult life. And so there was never a question of not showing up that way. And it made it harder. It was more challenging. We certainly have had, we're questioned. We were just newly together when we started the company, and the company was a few years old, and then we decided to go ahead and tie the knot, and that did actually help in some ways, because that gave us we were married, and so we were probably solid. And then but growing and building a business together. Naomi, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, from early on, we decided that if we were going to remain married while building a business, that it was really important that we have our very delineated lanes. And so, we both have complementary skill sets. And so we played to those things. So Fran is much more visionary, and she's got more marketing bend, and kind of got tossed into the fundraising role as CEO. And so she did all those things, and then I ran operations, so all the back of the house kind of stuff. And so as long as we stayed in each other's lane, and we set a
Out of
time
each other's
out
lane.
of each other's lanes, and it was great for our team too. Then it needed to be clear that they knew exactly who they needed to go to for whatever, and that we didn't talk about business after 10 p.m. Those were the parameters we set. Here we are today.
We maintained a sense of humor and very short memories.
Yeah. Fran, was it difficult when you started the Series A fundraising for the business? Was it really difficult to go as a woman as well? Was it quite, and then you started this quite late on. It's not like you've done other careers, and this is something totally different. Right. Was it difficult to do this?
Oh my heavens, it was very difficult. You hit on all the obvious points. We inexperienced lesbian couple trying to disrupt Victoria's Secret. What could go wrong? And so it was challenging. But in the end, with our series seed round, 95% of our investors were women. And then in our Series A, it still stayed at about 80%. But it was a very tough. The Series A was the toughest because we were undervalued, and we were running on fumes, and really had to take kind of a not great deal. But then with our Series B, I mentioned before we were recording, we lucked out. We've got a wonderful UK-based venture capital that is B Corp certified. They are very different than your typical VC mentality of a winner takes all. They understand what we're doing. They understand founders, and they've been great partners to us.
And they focus on challenger brands. So brands that are really looking to change the world in a positive way.
And they found us. So that was a much more fun experience.
Yeah, that's really good. And who are your clients, and who are your typical clientele that would buy your products?
Well, right now we're running probably about 70% within the LGBTQ community, and that's for obvious reasons. It was easy to target and reach out to that community. But we also have a very large part of our customer base in the plus size community, because no one has been paying attention to them either. So really that kind of outsider, not seen or heard in the fashion industry is our core customer. But also, to your point, the Tomboyx's out there who are just looking for good quality stuff and want to express themselves for who they are.
And a lot of folks that are in the trades. So firemen, police, military, EMTs, doctors, chefs, all that functional, has to last, can't go around picking a wedgie type of things.
Yeah, that's true. And Fran, I have to ask you this question because you talk about it very openly, and people who's going through cancer. I think this has been Breast Cancer Awareness Week. You're 2-time breast cancer survivor, and you said that you found that most bras could not accommodate it, and they were loose, they were too lacy. So last year, that's why you started this Tomboyx, and you released a special bra meant for breast cancer survival. What does it mean to you to be able to give back in such a meaningful way, because you did, this is an amazing thing that you not just suffered from breast cancer pain, but you're also giving back to your brand. What does it mean to you to be able to give back to all those wonderful women who are going through this pain right now?
It's a really wonderful feeling and very empowering, and to think, boy, I'm struggling with this. Wait a minute, I've got a product team. Let's talk about it and how we can address this issue. And so it's been a really rewarding experience. When I go into doctors, or I was recently in for some physical therapy, and the physical therapist was really excited about what we produce and how it impacts patients. And just this week in our all team, they read a review from our holster bra, which is the one-sided bra, which is something that isn't out there. And that was something that came out of I had a partial mastectomy a couple of years ago, and that was a challenge. It was like, well, I need something just for one side, and so we created that, and it's really cool. It's really been a remarkable thing to be able to address issues that not a lot of people have, but we're small enough and nimble enough that we can take care of it. And I think that translates into our adaptive whereas in addition to just the for breast cancer awareness, but for adaptive wear for the trans community. And so we work with a lot of people to understand their needs, and then we create it because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah. What's your hope? I mean, you're women, you're gay, you're older women who are doing these things out of, you started in a garage. Many girls out there believe when they get to 40, life is over. That is it. I am done. I don't think I would. Some women even say they don't think they will find a life partner, that their life is totally over. And there you are. You guys are a true example that it can be done. You could actually own a successful business. You could own all of these things. What would be your message of hope to other women out there who are listening to this conversation and who will be wanting to do the same, or even those who are too scared to come out because of the community they live in, they've been kicked out of their homes, not believing that one day they could be in your position running a successful business with someone they truly love? What would be your message to these guys?
I think for me, it would be that there are a lot of naysayers and doubters out there. So don't be one yourself, and stay positive and upbeat, and give yourself a break, and just keep persisting, because you can create your reality. You can create your own reality, and take the bull by the horns and just make things happen.
Yeah, Naomi?
Yeah, absolutely. For years and still there today, I have a plaque on my desk that says, "What would you do if you knew you couldn't fail?" What's that biggest dream that you have for yourself? Let yourself imagine that and put it out there.
That's it. Before I let both of you go, I have to ask you a final question. What does the future of Tomboyx look like, and how can people in the United Kingdom buy your wonderful brand?
Thank you. Well, we want to become a household name in the next few years. So we have a tremendous team in place, and we are about ready to put the pedal to the metal and get this thing going in high octane. So you can visit us at tomboyx.com. You can we have great you sign up for a newsletter and you'll get a discount on your first order. And just check us out on social media. We're Tomboyx on Instagram, Tomboy Exchange on Facebook, and we'd love to hear from you.
Twitter, Tomboyx on.
Tomboy Exchange on Twitter, Tomboyx on Facebook. So check us out. We've got a lot of new and exciting product innovations coming out early next year. Right now, we've got glow-in-the-dark spooky Halloween underwear out there, and we're doing a lot of holiday drops. So keep an eye out. We've got cool stuff coming, and sign up to hear from us.
Well, I'm super honored to have you both share this conversation with me. I think it will mean a lot to a lot of people to understand that it can be done, and you just have to, stay grateful and stay positive. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And thank you for all you
Thank you.
do. Yeah.
Thank
All
you.
right.